One thing people often get wrong about history is imagining childhood as a universal, unchanging experience. But what if I told you that childhood, as we understand it today, was largely invented by empire and used to justify domination? In 19th century Britain, children symbolized purity and innocence, becoming icons of civilization in Victorian society. That same ideal was exported across the empire, but not equally, as white colonial children were protected and educated. Indigenous and colonized children became tools for imperial labor or cultural assimilation, stripped of their identities. In settler colonies like Australia, indigenous children were forcibly removed from their families under brutal policies. In Canada's residential schools and America's Indian boarding schools, the goal was to erase indigenous identity. So was colonial education truly about nurturing potential, or was it about preemptively silencing resistance to oppression? In places like West Africa under French rule, so-called évolués received minimal education just for imperial service. Meanwhile, in industrial Britain, working-class children toiled in factories after being declared the future of society. Was global inequality partly shaped by defining who had a childhood, and crucially, who was denied one? Today, images of suffering foreign children remain prevalent in Western political rhetoric and humanitarian campaigns. But does this approach reinforce old hierarchies where childhood can only be restored through external intervention? Can true liberation really happen if our very conception of childhood carries such heavy imperial baggage? What obligations do nations have when generations have lost parents, languages, or futures due to these injustices? Perhaps most concerning is whether modern definitions of care echo those old systems of control disguised as protection.